Hello there.
Yeah.
Tyler, Keith, Sam. We're plugged on. We're here to review Avengers Infinity War. Give our thoughts. We just got back from seeing it. It's midnight. A minute past midnight.
I wish it was 11:58.
2 minutes to midnight. Yeah, I got you.
Fitting.
Yeah, it's a long movie.
It is.
Yeah,
it's
it's
2.5 hours.
Yes.
2
And
hours.
then you have to factor in the previews beforehand.
Yep.
Being 15 minutes or
And
so.
sitting there for the...
It's not as long as Blade Runner. It's not as long as Blade Runner. That's a fucking 3-hour experience.
Didn't you see that 3 times in theaters? So?
5 times.
5
Yes. That's a good fucking movie, dude.
15 hours, though.
Yeah,
I mean, granted.
15 hours of Blade Runner. That's like a video game almost. You know?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I mean,
The first time... This isn't about Blade Runner. Never mind. That's for another day.
that's another story.
But the more times you watch it, the more stuff you notice, and the more it's it just blows your mind.
Mm-hmm. So this is the third Avengers movie, but this is everything that this whole Marvel Cinematic Universe for 10 years now, and 18 films before this have been building up to. Is this storyline right here, finally here? I mean, fuck, I still remember when they announced all those movies.
Yeah.
It's this is all going to Infinity War, and it's damn, that's really far away, and now it's here. So yeah, and this also just has pretty much a banger of a fucking cast.
Just about everybody.
Just about everybody that you would want in it is in it. And I think there was a lot of questions for us of how are they going to balance such a large cast?
Also, how are they even going to attempt to live up to the hype?
Exactly. And I think we all can say that they've done that.
But that's it. I'd honestly say they went above and beyond living up to the hype, in my opinion.
Yeah, so we're going to keep it pretty light and for now, and then we might get into some spoilers later on. So what do you think?
Again, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I think what this movie does even a bit better than any of the other Avengers movies is especially Age of Ultron, maybe not the first one, of balancing these different stories, but then also something that the Avengers does very well is giving new character interactions. Whether it's Thor talking to the Guardians of the Galaxy, or Tony Stark and Doctor Strange, or whomever it might be. There's just all these new, relationships that are kind of building up. And I think that's where this movie kind of shines, in the sense that you can kind of have 3 or 4 different stories all happening at the same time, but it doesn't feel like one is less significant than the other. It just feels like they're all of equal importance. I think for the most part, all of the actors were on point, which is for the most part. I said for the most part. I'd say for the most part. For the most part, I'd say, because especially considering that none of them. I think the only person who I think saw the whole script was Benedict Cumberbatch, and that was because in order for him to kind of understand things, apparently for his character, he needed to see everything. But then other than that, people only got the scenes that they were in. That's the only parts of the script that they saw. So nobody actually knew what was happening outside of what their character experienced.
Interesting.
So I'm all right, that's a pretty cool concept, and I just think they did a good job of tying in, a bunch of other stuff from the MCU. I mean, a good portion of the movie takes place in Wakanda, which is cool, which is a good, send off to good Black Panther, which is, still huge. I mean, this movie might be bigger. I mean, I would say it probably is.
So.
I think it's ended up being bigger. I mean, Black Panther was a great movie, and it did so much for superhero films and film in general, but I just think this is the event film. I almost even feel almost even more so than even though there's a bit more of a big cultural thing for Episode 7, I don't know. I feel like this might just felt bigger somehow.
I mean, it's certainly the biggest event movie, you could say, since The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, there's nothing that even comes close.
And then, I mean, the last couple of things was the soundtrack was great. I like the soundtrack. It was very, very good. And maybe the only, it's not a spoiler, but the only slightly thing I'll get into that with is that it really didn't pull any punches the whole movie. I mean, it's they kind of did a lot of stuff, and even from the get-go, they weren't afraid to just be yeah, we're gonna do something drastic right off the bat, and I thought that was really good. So
set the tone very early on that.
Yeah, it's very dark,
Yes.
despite the humor, because there's a lot of good humor in it. But it's a very dark movie, which is great for Marvel.
I think it's supposed to be because you're building to this villain that's supposed to be unstoppable. If he gets what he wants, you know what I mean, and they're building to that, so it kind of needs to be. Very dark, you know,
which
shit needs to happen.
Josh Brolin did a great job as Thanos, and
Yes.
Thanos is, I would put him in the upper echelon of villains, because even though like this is the first real experience we've gotten with Thanos, you know, as a character, I feel like they did a good job kind of giving him multiple facets and whatnot, and I liked it. In a lot of ways, like I said, I thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, how about you?
Yeah, I really liked the movie. I think they found the right balance of characters. Like War Machine doesn't really do too much. He's not a big part in the movie. He does what he's supposed to do. Like when there's action going on, he's like dropping these bombs and stuff, and it looks cool. That's like what he's there for. He's not there to like be this main character, because in other movies where I feel like he's been more prevalent, it's just like I don't care as much about him.
Yeah.
You know, Falcon is there to kind of do some stuff. Like, they're really where they should be. They're not playing this bigger part. Like, I think kind of in Civil War, maybe a couple of the characters are just there a little too much. Like, it's just... we don't need that much of them. Like, you kind of need to, you know, balance it out where it should be. Yeah, I think the character, like Captain America, was very... I think his role in this movie was interesting. A bit of like change of pace of what I kind of expected from Captain America, but yeah, because I'll get into that later. Like I don't want to give anything away really, and like say what his role in the movie would be, but it's just different for Captain America. But I liked it. I liked the characters. Really felt like they were where they needed to be, and they worked well together, and that provided a lot more chemistry. I was surprised how much some characters were featured in the movie over others. It was a little interesting. But I liked it. You know, good mix. I thought, like, the action, like, certain parts of the movie were really awesome. Thor has some really cool parts. Like I said, War Machine has some, like... Not some, but, like, in a certain part... Like, he's good in like some parts of the movie. I think they did a pretty good job with some of the like fight scenes. Some of the choreography is still a little like it's just too much like choreography. Like people are dancing around too much, and it's like that's been all the Marvel movies. But like I don't know, that's something that at least for me, you see it like every movie. Like just fight kind of. You know, it's like everyone's like doing flips and stuff. Like I get that. But sometimes it's just when I'm watching the movie, I'm just like, all right, that's a little too much like choreography. Like how's that like? I don't know. It's just something I see like in every movie, and it's like they never change that up too much. But yeah, I thought a lot of the action was really good. A lot of the fight scenes were really rewarding in some ways or another. Like in some ways being like that's awesome, or in some ways being like story wise. Different action parts are really rewarding. But this movie was really strung together very nicely. I think it was very well paced. You know, like you said, to manage this many characters, it was really well paced, cutting in between different storylines going on. Like some characters had their own like things that they were going to and seeing through, and you know, kind of finding their own ways to defeat Thanos. I think, which was pretty cool. Thanos was like... I like the role that he played in the movie to give the Avengers like a real challenge, like the first time ever. But at the same time, he was a little like Ultron to me, almost just like on a larger scale. Like people need to just like his motives. Yeah, his motives were like a little like I've kind of seen it before, and just kind of how he behaves is like it's just a little generic to me. But I like on a deeper level as a character, I think there's a lot of potential there. It's just they need to kind of show, like in bits and pieces, they show that off a little bit. Like he has a deeper side to him, but just kind of in general, he's like, yeah, I'm gonna.
That's something that I hope in the second part of this that they give just a little bit more backstory to.
Yeah,
I think he could be a really fascinating character.
Yeah, like Killmonger was like really awesome to me as a villain in Black Panther because he had these like. Mm-hmm. Beliefs and
these clear goals.
Yeah, he things that he wanted to do, and it felt very like there was passion behind it. Like I'm gonna do this because I want to do this. With Thanos, it's just like, oh, I gotta do this, and it's like, yeah, that's not like I want a villain that's a little more motivated sometimes.
Yeah, it's like the only thing is like very much how he is in the comics, in which the comics even get hokier, where part of it is he's in love with death. And so all of this is to impress Death, because Death's a woman in the Marvel comics, so he wants to impress Death by showing his love for her by killing half the universe and being like, look what I did for you. It gets weird, but like then it's hard to do that kind of thing. So it's
I know it maybe kind of goes against the comics, but it would give the movie a little more gravity. I don't know if it would work, but if it was like instead of half the universe, if it was like the whole universe, like everything was going to get killed, it would give a little more, I don't know, it would be a little different. But I like the movie where it was. I think it was a nice balance of a lot of things. A lot of other stuff I want to talk about is really kind of giving stuff away. I don't want to do that too much. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I absolutely love this movie. I just felt like it was just to me at least, just a treat to watch the whole thing. And there wasn't really any moment in this where I'm like, that's weird, or why'd they do that, or that's just dumb. It's just extremely well thought out. Everything about it, and it almost felt like a TV show in a way. Of like, there's all these different storylines going on throughout the whole season, and it's still really exciting, but everything builds up to this like season finale that's going to lead into the next season, which is the next movie. You know what I mean? Like, it felt really well paced like that to me. That I really liked, and it's not like they were in no rush to get all the characters on screen. Like, I thought it was going to be kind of quick of like, I don't know, like here's Doctor Strange, here's Iron Man, here's Captain America, but it was like, I don't know, you're a decent way into the movie before you see these characters for the first time, and I think that's just smart. It allows the story to just flow as it needs to. It's just really well done to me, and I just really think that this movie is good. I mean, without spoiling anything, like the ending is just something that just kind of leaves you like with this just weird feeling in your stomach, because it's not. It's a fucking atypical. Awesome ending to me. But yes, it's very atypical. Like I don't want to spoil anything. It's not what it always is. You know what I mean? And it makes you feel weird. But I love it. Like, I just absolutely love the ending to this movie. And yeah, I thought, I mean, Marvel movies have never really stood out with sound design, or, well, soundtrack, I should say. But I feel like recently they've gotten a little bit better. Like, Black Panther was really, really great with it. And this movie, I think, is really good, too. And it's more of your kind of typical orchestral, almost Game of Thrones sort of stuff.
Big orchestra.
But it really works for what they had going on. And, man, some of the visual design in this movie is just fucking stunning. I mean, Marvel has always had really great stuff. But some of it's really good, and then some of it was not as polished as it should be, for sure. But I'd say overall, like 90% of it is just fucking a lot of 6 shots. Yeah. And when you're watching the end credits, there's literally a section of it that's just called shots. And there was like fucking 100 people in it. They should just rename it 6 shots.
6 shots.
That's the other universe.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not going to drone on too much because I agree with you guys on everything. I just think this movie is really good, and I'm just going to say it now. I think it's fucking blows the other two Avengers, even the first one, out of the fucking goddamn water.
I would say so.
And to me, I don't know. I don't want to say it yet. I want to get a little bit of distance away just to see how it sits in.
Before it sits in. I mean...
on where I feel it
again, I think
sits.
right now I'd probably say I would agree it's better than the first Avengers. Mostly just because it's more of a Marvel, this one. The first Avengers was a lot more straightforward. You only had like 6 or 7 characters to bounce, and whereas this one there's like about over 20 characters where it's like of varying degrees of importance, and it's like, here you go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
The one thing I do like about this movie is that if you're a person like me that hasn't seen all the movies, but at least you kind of know who the characters are, and you know like somewhat of a setup, like you're good. It's not too much like
definitely
like as long as you've seen like Age of Ultron, like you know that Vision exists. Then you're good. Like as long as you know who certain characters are, it doesn't really rely on like, oh well, in this movie this happened, and that movie that happened. It kind of has its own.
To me, like I think of it as like the new God of War game. Like you don't have to really play any of those games, and you don't have to really play them to completion. But if you have, there's going to be some things in there that are way more rewarding, I guess you could say. And like
details,
you get that like, more, just small little things that go like, oh yeah, that's cool. But I agree with you. You can kind of go into this cold, for the most part. I think there might be like 3 or 4 movies that I would say you should watch.
I think there's only like 3 movies that you definitely need to see before.
Avengers, Age of Ultron, and Civil War.
I was going to throw in a couple other ones just to set up where characters are at. So I was going to throw in Ragnarok.
Oh yeah, Ragnarok.
Ragnarok maybe, and then maybe Guardians 2.
Yeah.
But even then, you could probably get away without seeing Guardians 2. Maybe Guardians 1. Guardians 1 helps build, again, some of the relationships.
Ragnarok makes sense.
Ragnarok makes a lot of sense.
Plus, Ragnarok's just
it's just a good movie.
Fun movie.
So,
yeah. What would you guys give this?
I give it a 9. I feel comfortable giving this a 9 out of 10.
I don't know. What would you give it? I gotta think.
9.5. It's a mighty movie to me.
It's a mighty fine movie.
Hell yeah.
You know, by like the end of the year, I think it'll definitely be in my top 10. I think it has a good shot to be in like the top 5. I would say. Like I almost want to like wait and see what everything else that comes out this year that I want to see, and like, you know, average it and everything. But I think like right now, I would say it's God. You know what? I'll bump it up. I'll round up. I'll go 9.
I was gonna say, don't take our scores into consideration. You do your score.
I'll do 9 out of 10. I'll round up. I was gonna say like 8.75, but I don't want to be that guy.
Also, you can adjust.
It's either like 8.5 or 9.
That's what I did a lot last year. I kind of just adjusted my scores over time.
I gotta go to the final score now. It's permanent. It's permanent. It's on video.
No.
Yeah.
All right. If you have not seen Avengers: Infinity War,
stop
here. Now and come back to this.
Man, unless you want to like know what happens.
Yeah.
Unless you want to hear people talk about a movie that you haven't seen, you want to understand.
You're that kind of guy.
Some of the stuff.
We're gonna talk some spoilers here. And there's some shit to spoil.
Oh yeah. Okay, you've been warned. Here we go.
Yeah.
So everyone's dead.
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. Maybe.
I mean, granted, they're gonna come back.
Yeah.
It's a Marvel movie.
There is a Spider-Man: Homecoming 2. They're going to come.
Quicksilver died, but no one else is gonna die.
I don't think he's. I think Loki might be done.
Yeah,
especially if they don't do any more Thor movies, which sounds like Chris Hemsworth might be out.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Hiddleston's a big actor, so
you go do
yeah.
There's 3 or 4 characters that are definitely done, which I'm surprised they took out that many.
Yeah, I think like all the Thor-related characters are done.
Vision's dead.
Vision
could come back. Well, I mean,
I hope not. I mean, there's that love story with him.
Yeah, and I think Gamora kind of has to come back.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like that. I don't know. Like, I know I'm talking about like a Marvel movie. Like, the impact is like
that.
better if she's dead.
Yeah,
Because then if she comes back, like it messes with everything that Thanos did, like the sacrifice that he made. Like I feel like that's really part of his character arc. Like it should haunt him, and that should be like one of his weaknesses going into the second movie. Like that's gonna stick with him.
What if he does that? What if he's like, or some? I don't know. I just with the third Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Here's the thing. I'm not saying I disagree that it's like, oh yeah, that would be good for her to stay. It would be good for character stuff for her to stay dead. But I'm like, she's coming back.
But what if they pull like a Red Dead 2? It's a prequel. But they call it Guardians 3.
There's no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way.
Guardians 0.5.
But yeah, and then there's like a lot of ones that make sense. There was like Bucky going away makes sense. Falcon makes sense. A lot of those characters kind of go. But then surprisingly, like Black Panther and Doctor Strange, like basically everybody who's supposed to lead the MCU going forward is gone temporarily. I mean, it is temporary, but
yeah.
Which a lot of the scenes were like the death scenes were pretty good. I thought like some of them had good stuff. I mean, granted, this is my opinion. I liked the Peter Parker one. I mean, he's a kid. It's like, oh no, I'm dying.
He's a kid.
How are you gonna react to dying? It's like,
he's a kid, and Tony Stark's kind of meant.
Yeah,
too.
And also I think it's equally as powerful a moment for him as it is for Tony. Tony's like, oh, damn it, I failed this kid. So it's basically the core Avengers, Rocket, War Machine, and Gamora.
Nebula.
Nebula, right? I can their names mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
And Nebula, and that's like it.
Yeah.
Maybe Hawkeye.
Well,
and Ant-Man, they might still be alive. Who knows?
Captain Marvel.
To be determined.
Captain Marvel's probably alive.
Somewhere.
I mean, they're probably doing her thing.
To be determined.
It was
How do I know she's still alive?
I mean, I just assume so. Why would you introduce her for her to just not come?
Maybe they just want to fuck with people.
It was a really just fucking great ending to me because you had this just crazy ass fight between Thanos and like Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Iron Man, that kind of went like, oh shit, he's gonna finally get this stone that he's been going after with Doctor Strange forever. And Doctor Strange is giving it up because apparently there's only one way.
There's only one way. And apparently that might be the way.
So, but then it's like crazy. But then they finally he shows up on Wakanda, and it's like, oh fuck, there he is. And then they're killing the shit out of Vision. But then he brings him back because he's got that stone.
He's got the time stone. It's like literally if that would have happened. Well, granted, that probably would have happened no matter what. But it's like,
yeah, and the whole time, like when that was happening, I'm like, Thor's gonna come in. At some point, he has to. Where like they went through every fucking character that was there except for Thor, and Thor comes in the most badass fucking way and stabs Thanos through his body, but Thanos still can snap his fingers.
Snapped his fingers and snapped everybody's neck.
Yeah, I think it was still really cool, but at the same time, like just go for the hand or the head, and it's all over.
Thanos
just a mistake. But then that was crazy, and then like the whole like I'm just gonna say death sequence where people were just dying. Maybe who knows? That's the thing. That's the thing. Why it's such a crazy ending because they're probably gonna come back, but you also don't know.
But it's like what if but it's also an issue of who might not. Like
they all have to come back.
I would assume, but is there anybody who's like like is Falcon all that important? Could he just not come back?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, granted, I think I honestly think that I could easily see for the most part, like not just like everybody who disintegrated thing. I could honestly see this being like boom, everybody comes back.
Yeah,
and it's everybody
because
even despite what I said before, they're probably gonna want to bring back Loki because people like Loki.
They'll bring him back for like a cameo, just kind of like he winks at the camera, so it's still alive, but he's not going to be in the movies anymore. Like he just kind of goes off and does his own thing, but he's still. Yeah. They leave it ambiguous, I think.
Yeah, or like afterwards, everybody goes off on their own, and Loki's like, I'm done with all of this, or the same thing with Cap. Cap's like, I'm done fighting. I'm just going to go. I can't. I don't want to do this anymore, or something like that.
Yeah. What if Carrot Top played? Thanos.
Yeah, he's pretty ripped. He can.
I don't think he's ripped.
He's not ripped anymore? He
No,
was for a while.
no. I saw he got like surgery to
God.
it's like fake muscles almost.
Gotcha.
One of those things. So it just looks weird, like his shoulders all extended out. We're reviewing Carrot Top now.
The Carrot Top is transitioned to a
Yeah,
Carrot
Thor
Top.
is the best part of this movie to me. He's the best action scenes. He had the best like story arc to me. I just like Thor the most. I probably like the best scene is when when they're battling at Wakanda and he first shows up and he just like summons lightning and just kind of wipes everyone out around him.
Mm-hmm.
That was like the coolest part of the whole movie.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome. But I also love the really like that whole conversation when they're going to wherever I forget Peter Dinklage land.
Yeah.
And that conversation between him and Rocket.
He fucking sucked in this movie.
He did.
He
Yeah.
did.
He
fucking-
did.
He laid an egg.
He's the one exception to mine.
Yeah.
And mostly everybody did a good
Exactly.
job.
But that conversation between Thor and Rocket, that was more just like down to earth and heartfelt and everything, where he was kind of realizing like, fucking everybody is dead in my world that I cared about, and what do I have left to lose?
Because it's like a weird thing. 'Cause
really
that's
well
also just
done.
like a weird thing to consider. With the exception of Thor, the Asgardians are wiped out.
Mm-hmm.
There's none left.
Yeah, he doesn't have family. He doesn't have a home.
Yeah,
he has
so-
literally nothing anymore.
So there was
crazy.
There was a lot of good scenes like that. I mean, every scene with Thanos and Gamora was really good.
Yeah.
Because their relationship is an extremely complex one. I was a little surprised. I mean, granted, time has taken place between Guardians 2 and this, but I was surprised that like they had her and Peter's relationship and Star-Lord's relationship progress so far off screen to where they're like together, I guess. And I'm like, oh wow, this happened off screen. I mean, sure, it just but I'm just like, oh wow, that's usually something they save for the actual thing.
Yeah. There's two other things I just think just make this movie just incredible. Is that one? It is something we've talked about in the past. Like, these characters struggled the whole movie, and they really never had the upper hand at all.
No, there's
And
one
they
moment.
lost.
Yeah, there's one moment where it's like, hey, where it's
Yes.
like you know that what's like you know somebody's gonna fuck up, and it happens to be Star-Lord when
Yeah.
he finds out that
Like-
was what he did, and it's like, but like, oh, they could do it, and it's like, oh no, but
Yeah.
let's go fuck it
Like,
up.
no sequence went their way
No,
at all. And I just think that is really crazy to do in a superhero film, because most part they've been really safe with this sort of stuff, and I think just because they knew that they're telling a 4-5 hour story, they're like, we can do this in this movie and still be all right, just really punch people. But two, I feel like it put a lot of these characters in situations that they were never in before, of like, man, I might have to kill you.
yeah,
Maybe I might have to kill my best friend or my lover or whatever. And
Yeah.
it's like just making decisions that are fucking like brutal. Like, it's like, put the fucking controller down and walk away for an hour and come back and make your decision because you don't know what to do.
yeah, basically.
Like stuff like that. I'm like, I like stuff like that.
Granted, I felt maybe that it was a little. Maybe one complaint was that like, every single one of those situations kind of ended the same. Between
yeah.
Peter and Gamora, it's like, oh yeah, of course Thanos isn't gonna let that happen. The same thing between Wanda and Vision. It's like, well, yeah, he just reverses time and he still does his thing anyway. So it's like all of that. It's like, yeah, it's worth nothing.
Yeah.
In the long run, I'm like, maybe that's like the one thing. It'd be interesting to see if like one of those times it actually worked out.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it did between Vision and
But I mean, like,
whatever.
in
but
the
then
grand scheme
it
of
was
things,
undone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so there was a couple. I mean, besides that, I mean, like I said, the humor was really good.
It was.
Especially between.
I should have said that non-spoiler part. Yeah, probably good.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
It was very good.
But it was like, not too on the nose, and it's also just weird things. Like, it was a cool moment that I didn't expect at all. But like, fucking Red Skull's in the movie. He's not played by Agent Smith or whatever the hell the guy's name is. Elrond.
Agent Smith.
Agent Smith.
Oh, I think it's Agent Smith.
Agent Smith or Elrond. He's not played by him this time. But,
I swear I thought you said Asian Smith.
No. But like, I was like, oh, that's a cool throwback to way back. Like, that's cool. I mean, it's not worth much, but it's like, that's just like a cool thing. There he is. Everybody's. It's something that weirdly MCU fans have been calling for. Like, what happened to Red Skull?
He was like a major dude.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
There he is. And then,
he's a neat villain.
Loki dies in the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, you only give Hulk in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Like the big shot from the trailer where they're all like running through the forest, and it's like, it's not
that
a movie.
doesn't fucking happen.
It doesn't fucking happen. Which I'm all for. I mean, that happens all the time and stuff. There's all kinds of trailer shots, but like.
Star Wars does that.
Oh, yeah, there's all kinds of trailer shots in like Star Wars all the time, but like
I just don't mind that. Like, let's fake them out.
Let's fake them out, and then also, I mean, it gives a little bit more for Hulk to do since they're never going to be able to do a solo Hulk movie because of rights issues. Here they're giving him a story arc over, Thor Ragnarok. He's worried like if I turn into the Hulk again, I'm never going to turn back, and now he can't turn into the Hulk for some reason, which leads to one of the worst CGI moments in the movie with Bruce Banner in the Hulkbuster suit.
Yo, boo.
Yeah, it was bad.
Not great.
Like even like earlier, like he popped his helmet off like earlier. I'm like, oh man, like there's a reason why Tony Stark never did that in Age of Ultron. That's because it looks bad.
There's a scene right at the end where that happened that just took me completely out of whatever the fuck was going on. Like, I don't even know what was said during that scene. I just saw this, like, floating head in this robot mech suit that just looked awful. Ugh.
Actually, also, since you brought up that scene, here's the thought. I mean, Vision's body's still around.
Mm-hmm.
Theoretically, if what's her face, Shuri's still alive, theoretically they could find a way to bring him back.
True.
Theoretically, so then he could.
Wouldn't he lose all his powers though?
I mean, that was inclusive. They would talk about that. But who knows what'll happen? I mean, who knows?
He
but like,
stay dead.
If they're gonna bring it back. If they're gonna bring everybody
it's
back.
probably like his story arc, but
like I said, I'm okay with everybody coming back as long as the whatever fight sequence that ends up happening is one of the fucking coolest things I've ever seen.
Like, I kind of hope that everyone that didn't disintegrate, everyone that died just by dying stays dead. Gamora, Loki.
Yeah, me too.
Like, well, Loki can come back, but inconclusive sort of thing. And then Vision. I kind of hope that. I
just think it would really undermine everything that happened.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, I mean, it's what's gonna happen. Like that's like my thing. It's what's gonna fucking happen. It's like maybe not Vision, but again, I still stand by the fact I definitely Gamora. There's no way she's staying dead. There's no way. Absolutely none.
Well, how would they bring her back?
Again, it's a fucking time stone. Just like boom, you're alive. And also, who knows?
Yeah, but then we go back in time before he.
But also, here's a thought because I mean, granted, it seems like if the Infinity Gauntlet has all kinds of supernatural powers, so it's not just that he snaps his fingers and that's just what the Gauntlet does. You snap your fingers and everybody's dead. It's he wants half the universe dead. He snaps his fingers, half the universe is dead. Somebody else puts the Gauntlet on, bring everybody back who died because of Thanos. Snap their fingers, boom, everybody who died because of Thanos.
The Gauntlet looks really big. I don't think anyone's hand would fit.
Hulk.
Oh, okay.
or again, if they play the whole guilt thing, I don't know, somehow get Thanos to do it. I don't fucking know. You break the Gauntlet, it undoes everything the Gauntlet did. Who fucking knows? There's gonna be some Deus Ex Machina like that doesn't. That's what's gonna fucking happen.
I hope not.
Well, that's what's gonna happen. I'm sorry.
What if everyone stayed dead?
That'd be crazy.
I mean,
that'd be crazy.
It'd be crazy. I mean,
that would be them saying like, "Yeah, the last Avengers movie marks the end of this Marvel Cinematic Universe."
How many more Marvel movies are they gonna do in this universe? Like you said,
at
like
seven.
Up to 18
at least
movies.
7 after the fourth Avengers movie.
I mean, they could chug out a few more, but then it's like, what's this is kind of like the be-all, end-all. It's Thanos.
Yeah.
It's like you can't... Like, yeah, you have a couple more movies out there. You want to experiment with some smaller heroes or maybe villains or whatever. But like after this, it's kind of like,
I think in terms of like the Avengers,
how do you get better?
I think in terms of the Avengers, I think the Avengers is done after all this. But I mean, the universe, they can still keep putting out movies and then have them still be loosely connected.
I mean, as long as things
they
happen,
keep making money, it's going to keep happening.
They might have X-Men.
Yeah, they might here in a couple months. They might have the X-Men, and
They should pony up and get a fucking
Fantastic Four.
Doctor Doom as a villain, and
Galactus, just a dude who just eats planets.
Yeah.
It's like Thanos.
He was in the Silver Surfer.
He was.
That was a good movie.
Except not have him be a fucking space cloud. Have him be an actual person, because that's what Galactus is.
Space jizz. Space jizz.
Yeah.
Good
it's
fucking
a good movie. It's one of my favorite superhero movies I think I've ever seen, personally. To me.
Very much so.
I think I'm just very high on this movie. I just think it's very well done.
Yeah. I'm trying. I was.
That's a list we should make sometime. We've never done that.
What? Just best.
I don't think we've done that before. Just like best superhero movies.
We might have.
I think my top 5 right now, probably.
I could probably think of my top 5 right now.
Yeah, I could probably do mine pretty quickly, but
yeah,
we're kind of rambling at this point.
Yeah, Avengers
Infinity War.
Yeah, Avengers Infinity War. It is cool. Go watch it. It is the rage.
It is all the rage.
It's all the rage that the kids love. So, see ya.